Good morning. I'm higher vibrations, and so are you. I see that there's already a lot of comments. I just kind of would love for a moment to echo out a lot of what you all have already said. And thank you for joining me, by the way. This is really a crazy time. We've got so much energy coming in. We're just about to get this massive geostorm. Um, I didn't see what was predicted of when it would hit us, so we would start to feel the effects of it. So there's a lot of stuff happening. We had the 5-5 portal. We had the lunar eclipse on that same day, as well as the full moon on that day. Um, just a lot of stuff that happened astrologically. Beginning of some, I can't remember the name of the meteor shower right now, um, and it's just starting. Like this is just the beginning of these energies, and so there's a lot happening. So let's go to the comments. Helping you to ascend. Hello, so good to see you. She says, "Hello, beautiful souls. I have heard a different tone from the usual ones in my ear not long ago. Never heard this kind of ringing in my ears before. Makes me believe that ascension is really happening. It really is. It really is. It. I've been having that too. Both of what you said. There's this normal experience that we all have. I think because we've been conditioned to not believe in ourselves, not to trust ourselves rather, and to not believe what we're experiencing to be true. That more difficult for us to trust that this is what we're going through. So it's great to have these validating moments. The other ear ringing, the other tone that you're talking about, I know exactly what you mean. I've been having that as well. A lot of people have actually. It is very pleasant. It feels higher vibrational and comforting. It's just strange. I agree with you. Um, Vanya says, "Hi guys, it's been such a challenging week." Yes, it has. I have had strong flu-like symptoms, typical ascension, congested throat, nose, ear, and headache, hot, cold waves, extreme tiredness. Um, there's yes, exactly, Vanya. I'm having that cold stuff that you're talking about, the congestion and the on the weird cough. It feels like just the top of my lungs are being affected. I know that our heart area, so we have three hearts. There's this one and then the two. Um, and we're talking about energetic hearts, of course. Um, as those are coming on, I feel like that has a lot to do with this upper lung stuff. So yeah, and then the sinus movement of the pressure, and the movement of this stuff out, this purging, it's happening everywhere in our body, not only on in our sinuses though. That's the one that I notice the most too, because it's the most annoying. Um, and we're also having like acne kind of stuff, and all of these cool or cold or flu symptoms that you talked about. I'm having as well on and off. Um, the one has been bothering me the most. I had something really amazing and interesting happen a couple of days ago. I had a healing hand activation, um, and it caused quite a bit of discomfort. It really didn't feel good at all, and it was my thumb and these two fingers. The amount of pain that I was experiencing went through my arm in an electric kind of way, and it was really uncomfortable. I ended up wearing a brace for it until I finally so my 2 fingernails, um, these 2 fingernails had curled completely overnight. It was and they wouldn't go back. It wasn't like I had anyway, as soon as I cut those fingernails off, I was fine. And all of my neurological pathways picked back up. And now my hands are hotter. I can feel them from this far away now. The heat of them. And just it was an activation. A lot of people are having that also. When that happened, I had a fever hit as I was just about to go to sleep. I was just all of a sudden the shudders of the cold, and then woke up just completely drenched in sweat and healed. So I'm just mentioning that because you had mentioned the fever or the hot cold waves. Um, Also, we're noticing the feet are having the same similar reactions as I described with the hands. In particular, the palms of the hands and the soles of the feet, though, really everywhere. We're all healers. We are. We're healers of ourselves. We're healers of others and those things around us. We've just simply not been taught and reminded how to use those. So they're starting to come back. Esther says, "Hello, the same here. A pitch that I cannot describe. Yep, the ear ringing. It does not bother me. I would say it's quite good feeling when it appears. Yes. And yes, this week is tiring with hundreds of symptoms. Yeah, It's amazing. I don't even know if we're gonna have time to cover all of the symptoms today. I just made a video, that I was just gonna put right on it. It turns out if I go over 28 minutes, or if I go over 20 minutes, it won't, post from my phone, which is what I always use is my phone, and it's 28 minutes long, so I'm trying to cut out, down to 20 minutes so I can post it. There's so many symptoms. It's hard to get it all in that short amount of time. Leona says, hello from Australia. Hello, welcome. Have rash all over my abdomen. Okay, yeah, good. Let me talk about that. Well, let's go there in a second. So itchy on my body. Never experienced this before. Anyone else going through this? Yes, yes, yes. Okay, so the abdomen, we're talking about the lower three chakras. So the root chakra, the sacral chakra, and the solar plexus. A lot of people are having all kinds of symptom in this area. Like, honestly, I would say that the vast majority of our symptoms are based in that area right now. I mean, we have other things happening, like my hair is so weird right now. It's so staticky that I can't touch it, or it'll just poof. Um, the the stuff with this is we have what's purging, I guess is the right word. There's a detoxing that's happening. We're pushing a lot of stuff out that isn't in harmony with us, and right now mostly in the sacral area, so that orange center between the solar plexus and the root chakra, that area, the womb space, has a lot of activation happening and a lot of symptom there. Feeling like the energy's congested there, feeling constipated, though not, because we're purging, frequent trips to the bathroom, even though it does feel constipated in this area. We're having a lot of stuff. The patchy rashes that you're talking about, sometimes it's patchy, sometimes it's pretty, like broad spectrum, kind of like, I can't remember the right word, but just perfectly balanced or equal. That is really common. So one thing that I have found to assist in any of this skin stuff, more and more our bodies are wanting oil. And honestly, I bought into for a moment that there's a special kind of oil for this and everything. And whatever's right for your body is the correct answer. There are definitely better and better oils that are more and more pure. Though whatever you can get access to. My only suggestion is to avoid canola or vegetable oil. That just all together in your diet, on your skin, not good for our systems. And so adding oil, just little bit after a bath really helps, as well as Epsom salt. I use pink Himalayan Epsom salt that seems to be a little bit more higher vibrational for me. It feels more correct. So whatever it is that you have available to you, I've even heard people just use regular salt. And then to add the oil afterward really does help. And this is not happening only in this abdomen area. A lot of us are having it all over. For a while there, my legs were really rashy, like little bumps and just really uncomfortable and itchy. Um, Leona does say here, skin is more sensitive and just itchy, and that's, yeah, across the board for a lot of us. And so those ideas or those suggestions that I had brought up do tend to help for all of this stuff. Hello, Patriot Hero. Good to see you. Helping you to ascend says, I have flu symptoms too. Exactly. A lot of us are. And then just the need to have accelerated healing. So that's happening while that's occurring. Extreme feeling of nausea today, says Helena. Yes. And again, that same area, that sacral chakra area, there's some guidance that can assist you to pull that energy down that we'll go into in a moment. I'm just going to try to catch up a little bit here. Vegan Vixen, hi everyone, love from Wales, UK. Patriot Hero, I have a kidney stone. Does that count? Oh, I'm really sorry that you have a kidney stone. This is the same area, so that makes a lot of sense. This sacral region, it's really interesting that you would have something like that. Most people, man, woman, child, everyone are reporting pregnancy-like symptoms, or another way to say it would be like feeling that there's something moving there. That a lot of flu-like symptoms, feeling nauseated, feeling, and so we have the threefold. There are people talking about feeling like they're pregnant, people who are feeling like they're in giving birth or had just given birth. And then there are individuals that are feeling like they had just been birthed. So this is just a thing that's happening right now for a lot of people. Remember the sacral and the solar plexus area? This is the area of creation. This is the womb and energy, man, woman, child, whatever you are embodied as. We all have this energy. That's the place to create. That's manifestation. And that's coming online a lot stronger. So, I mean, I would say a kidney stone is very similar to giving birth. So that kind of sense of needing to push things out too, and that detoxing that we're doing, that purging that we're doing to move out the toxins. Leona says, yes, the nausea comes and goes. Yeah, it's very uncomfortable. No, it's part of what we're doing right now. As it's happening, we're also having this appetite shifting thing. So we're having a real big appetite and all of a sudden none at all, and then back and forth. I've had a series of unplanned fasting days that I've kind of strung together just as a result of not having an appetite or feeling that just slight nausea and not having any desire to eat as a result. So that's a lot of people are having that experience as well. Um, Vegan Vixen, yes, weird skin stuff happening. Yeah, a lot of weird stuff. And as it's happening, it's being replenished and repurposed, or we're having the way that it's understood is that, well, our skin is the largest organ in our body that our body has, and through that is like the filter that pushes and collects the things that we do need or don't want in our body. And so as it's moving through and pulling in good stuff too, there's these crystals that we have that are all over a lot of us will see them in the air. People call them uh, uh, sky glitter a lot of times, and it's just like these little teeny like beautiful sparkly things that a lot of people see in the sun only, or sometimes in the moonlight as well. They're everywhere and they always are. It's just those are when you can see it. We have them in our body too. And when most of the time, for the longest time, we had kept our these little tiny microscopic crystals that look like mirrors. They're flat. They were like lined up like shingles of a roof, or um, like a dragon scale to keep everything from coming in. No light could really make its way in, not in the level that it needs to. And what's happening is we're starting to move these crystals up a little bit. So they're accepting in more light. And as that's happening, we're also releasing a lot of stuff. Finally, things are able to go out. So it's a good thing. It's just uncomfortable. Um, Let's see. Hi, Jackie. Good to see you. Hello, Esther. It's good to see you. Brandy Kane. Hi. The acne is out of control. Yes. Oh my goodness, the acne. And it's not even really, I would call it something other than acne if I had a better word, because it's a little bit different. And we know it's different. But it is, it's an acne like thing. It's all over the body too. Everyone's reported different places. I actually started to get blisters on the palms of my hands and the soles of my feet in just this one spot. It's very interesting for me. It's like right there, right where all of the other lines kind of meet. So that's just kind of something that's happening too. After it bursts, all of a sudden I feel my whole body feels like a sigh, like a relief. It's really interesting. Um, let's see. Hit the like button, guys, says Vegan Vixen. Thank you for saying that. It really does help. Um, let's see. Brandy says that. Oh, yeah, sure. I read that. Leona K, not nice. Oh, it is a test of patience for sure. I think there's an inside conversation going on. Patriot Hero, I've been having a lot more feeling of confidence and self-worth. Oh, that's such great news, Patriot Hero. I'm very happy to hear that. And this is actually a thing that a lot of people are having happen right now too. It's this really cool thing where we're kind of stepping into our power. And as we allow ourselves to speak our truth, then we become aware of the validity of it more and more. It comes out really strong, and so that's actually why a lot of us are having these Zoom meetings where people can come and gather and just speak. And as well as here, you can, speak your truth in a safe and beautiful place. When I do my Zoom meetings, they're not aired or recorded anywhere, so you can't rewatch them or anything like that. But then you also know that you can share whatever you want and it won't be broadcast anywhere. And the one that I do is free. So if you're interested, it's on Fridays at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I actually am not very good at translating everyone else's times anymore. So if you don't know what that time is, just go to your internet engine, search engine, and type in your time zone or my time, the 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time to your time zone, and it'll tell you what it is. But it's really cool. It lasts for 2 hours, and it's a really fun gathering of lovely people. Vegan Vixen, wow, just sneezed 5 times. Awesome. Helena, feeling cold today, can't get warm. So I had that too. I was really cold. It didn't matter. And then we went swimming, and it was, oh my goodness. And then all of the sudden, now I'm the opposite. Now I'm just it finally all heated up. So I think I'm a day or two ahead of you in this, what you're describing, Helena. I had a lot of the same things that you had. I had a fever break and all this kind of stuff, though I had no other. It was very bizarre. I knew what was happening had nothing to do with like a common cold or anything like that. Mother Nature 61, hello. I take potassium and magnesium every day, but the leg cramps and my legs feeling heavy is intense. Exhaustion is real too. Yes. Yes. The cramps. Okay. So there's something really important that's happening with the twitching and the muscle spasms and stuff like that. When we're having those happen, what is happening energetically already is that, so let's say that this is our baseline, so we're here and this is where we are now and we're leaving this behind. There are things that have been part of team body, really great harmony, great collection of energies that are have the same goal and the same plan, and then now we're raising our frequency, and a lot of these energies are still kind of where we are leaving behind. And so as we do that, we have to kind of remove ourselves from that energy. And this was an Archangel Michael channeling that I had done a little bit ago, saying that it's the shaking out, and it's like twitching and muscle spasms and stuff as the density is kind of moved out, kind of making a space, a way for it to move through. And so that's what that is. It's really uncomfortable. Totally agree with you. There's a whole spectrum of it. It can be simple twitching. What's most common, if you've only just started to have it, is what's most common to begin is the top of the eyebrows. Usually it's just one for a while, at least from my experience, that's what it was. And then after a few weeks or something, a long time, then it would go to the next one. And then after a long time, then it would go here. And this was the path of it. And then it went down to my lip and here. And then started to move through my body into large muscle groups. And as that's happening, it's a shaking out. It really helps if you use the violet flame. I always am careful to say the word violet because I always seem to say violent. We say purple in my house, but I have a little girl, so anyway, using the violet flame in order to help transmute that energy and to assist that really does help. It accelerates the healing and the progression of movement of that energy out. So maybe to use some of that might help you. Um, Hello, Priti. Hello. It's good. So good to see you. She says, hello, family. I've had a lower pulse sound in my left ear. Happened twice and not had it again. Lots of nausea. Much love to you, Pamela. Much love to you too, sweetie. So the lower pulse sound in the ear, that one's been happening to me for a little bit as well. I typically don't notice it until I'm laying down to rest for sleep at night, and then it just gets really distracting. And also I'm noticing like you can actually hear I can hear other beats, other heartbeats. And I'm thinking it's my other hearts, though I might be hearing someone else's heart beating. It's very fascinating. And then when I focus, when find a rhythm where they all beat as one, then it's easier. Everything calms down and I can be in rest. So it's interesting. Jackie says, my nerve pain has been very intense. I'm really sorry to hear that. This this nerve pain thing that a lot of people are talking about, it's showing up in different spots for every person. Like what was happening in my hand felt very much like a nerve pain. It was very electric and just oof, ooh, and just really shocky kind of feeling. It felt like something was pinched in a way. And though as soon as I cut my fingernails, then it was released. I feel like a lot of it is this movement out, this attempt to like expand. And right before a birth, there are the pains of labor and things like that, and it's something similar to that. I'm really sorry to hear that you're still having such struggles, Jackie. Janice says, I had one day with an extreme case of dropsies last week. I couldn't hold, oh yeah, I couldn't hold on to things, spilled everything with liquid and knocked things over by barely touching them. This is really a common one. I found that happening. It hasn't happened to me for a little bit. So we all go through these symptoms. It's just that depending on where you are when in this experience, some of us will go through them sometimes a little sooner than others or a little bit later than others. It's not a race, and we're all on this journey together. That experience started happening for me like a month or so ago, and it was very bizarre. Like I would be looking at something I was holding and just drop it, and it wasn't on purpose, and I was just astounded that I had dropped it. That lasted, I think, 3 days, and then it finally moved through. And so I know along with that, we have this disorientation, this feeling of not being connected, this disconnection in a way, and it's simply moving into the next phase of our awakening. And as we move into that next phase, we have a lot of things turn on, and we're just kind of getting reoriented into that space. Really, before I forget, so that we were talking about the lower chakral area, and lower doesn't mean less than. It's simply that's just spatially speaking. Our root chakra, our sacral chakra, and our solar plexus, those three chakras are struggling a lot, only because we have this energetic rope that is occurring for a lot of people. So we have this rope, and our physical form is about that long. And this energy rope, we feel like we need to, for some reason, um, keep all of the energy within our physical form and to fit the physical form space. And in order to solve the problem, most of us would go from the crown chakra down through each of the chakras and continue to push the energy. And that was actually creating more of like a knot like energy that I hadn't actually been able to see. Recently, I started to be able to see this. So it's a little easier to understand. And so what we're doing now is solving the problem. And this is not an immediate a solution. You want to do this a couple of times. You will notice a sensation of relief almost immediately. Is that then go to your root chakra and guide it to be pulled in the root that it is down into the soil. And as we do that and we straighten that energy up, then it's an easier flow. And so that's something that you can do in meditation. It doesn't take very long, a very brief window of time. It really helps. Okay, let's see. I think I read Janice last. I had one day with an extreme case of, yeah. Molly says, so great to see you, Pamela. So great to see you, sweetie. Thank you for keeping me grounded and trusting. Oh, well, thank you. I'm really happy that you're able to join today. I just got skipped ahead of everybody. Let's see. Hey, Pamela, sorry I missed the Zoom Friday. I fell asleep too early. The call is 12 midnight UK time. Oh, I'm sorry that you missed it too. I hope that you can join next time, Sarah. Jenna says, things even fell over after I walked by. Okay. By the end of the day, all I could do was laugh. This is something else that's happening to me too. And just noticing that your wake is a lot bigger than it used to be. Your energetic wake, affecting physical things around you as well as electronics. If, by the way, electronics are turning off around you, you often are now in this energy where you're connected enough to it that you can actually be your own remote control and turn things on and off if you feel like experimenting with it. Our energetic sphere used to be about 50 feet in diameter with us in the center, and it's growing. I'm noticing that more and more with a lot of people. And as it's doing that, you're affecting more square footage around you. So it's very interesting. Mia, hello, dear Pamela, and all you guys. So good to see you, Mia. I use pomegranate oil on my face now. Oh, cool. Great idea. Yeah, that will really help. Our skin just needs oil right now. It's just the most interesting thing. Leona says, thank you, Pamela. Yes, little pimple type things. Charming. Have been using oils. This helps. Awesome. Yeah, it's really annoying, honestly. We feel like we have finally gotten past that rite of passage, pubescent period where we have all this acne, and now here we are again. It's really annoying, but it's just something that's moving through us. We have a lot of toxins, and remember, the toxin is a word used, assigned as something that is not harmonious for your body. That doesn't mean that it's poison. That doesn't mean that it's necessarily a bad thing, just not the greatest for you, and perhaps not very long ago it didn't cause you any kind of disharmony. In fact, it helped you, and now it's not. And so it's just moving on. It's like another rung on the ladder, as it were. Vegan Vixen, yes, I'm 64, but I've been having period pains for a while now. Yes, Vegan Vixen. It's so bizarre. The one the group of individuals that I'm finding to be the most taken aback by these symptoms of pregnancy and as well as other menstrual like stuff. Like I said, most of us feel like we're PMSing or going through some. Men as well. Men are going through it as well. And a lot of them don't know what the symptoms are exactly. And so they're taken aback. They're really kind of shocked by it. And it's really great to hear people speaking up about it though. And so we're talking about these cramps in the gut, the weird food stuff, cravings, and then all of a sudden loss of appetite. Feeling thumping, actual thumping in the belly, like a baby kicking, and not even just in the belly, but also different areas, different organs. Remember, each of these organs are talking to us and saying, this is an energetic and emotional area that needs to be healed or could be healed right now. Allowing yourself to like go on the internet and do a search engine saying, you know, what is the emotions connected to liver? I can say the answer to that because I helped somebody else with that. Liver is anger and the expression of anger, letting it come out. And so having knowing what that is, why we're having that flop, flop, flop against a certain organ will help us to then resolve the underlying emotional issue. Not always is this emotional issue something to do with this lifetime. It could very easily and often is to do with a different lifetime than you had before, or something else like ancestral healing or your galactic ancestral healing. There's a lot of this galactic ancestral healing that's starting that I didn't understand what was going on. I'm just like, oh, we're healing everybody now. We have this genetic line through the galactic place realm as well. It's very interesting. We are shedding. Yes, Vegan Vixen. Excuse me. I'm still having this upper lung thing that's been going on for a little bit. Esther says, yesterday I thought I had the flu and it passed till morning. Unbelievable. Yeah. It's very, very brief, very, very short lived, this experience. It's just really uncomfortable. Though the lung and the sinus thing keeps coming back, it's like circling back regularly and until it's done moving and stuff out. I know there's a lot that we have to leave behind and of our bodies. So Patriot Hero, I just want to say I'm so grateful for you doing these and feeling like we are being heard and listened to. Oh, I'm so calm and relaxed and have been really feeling a love feeling. So bless you. Oh, thank you very much, Patriot Hero. I'm crying. I'm very happy to hear that. That is the only purpose of doing these, is to connect with others and to let you know that you're not alone. There's I have no business model here. I simply want to help people if I can. So I appreciate you letting me know that I'm doing that. And to everyone here. And yes, thank you for this community, for all of you coming in and speaking up. If you don't speak up, then no one knows the voice is out there. Helena says, I'm fighting a few different areas, small pimple-like things, but don't itch. Yeah. So the areas I'm struggling with the most, acne, it's not really acne again, wise is like right behind my earlobe, not against the crease of the head or whatever, but this area on both sides as well as inside. I'm getting these weird fleshy like acne like things in the inside of my ears and then also at the base of the neck. So you remember that like crooks of the neck. So right here where this is your head and this is your neck, this little spot here. This hasn't been an activation space for a little while on and off, and now it's happening again and it's turning into like this weird acne-like thing for a lot of people as well. Stephanie, good to see you, sister. 1212, where she's at, or that was a while ago. It's so good to see you. Trina, hello. Pain, aching behind the knees. Yeah, okay. So this is an area that I actually started to get these weird acne. Most bizarre, to be honest. all of a sudden having weird bumps and stuff behind my knees that just need to be released. And so it's a thing. The joints all together, all across the board, most people are reporting this. So and we already knew that as we're cleaning the energy in our home, like smudging or saging or whatever it is you do, sound bowls, we find that the energy gets stuck in the corners more, or even like the edges of a room. And the same is true for our body in those areas, those sharp corners, just like Thoth talks about in the Emerald Tablets, the tight bends, like our different joints. And so as we're moving our energy away from, again, this energy that used to be in harmony with us, as we're moving away, we're noticing the resistance, the hair, as it were, when you're pulling the band-aid, are the joints all over our body. And we're talking about every one of our vertebrae and our back and our neck and all this stuff. It's something that isn't long lasting as we allow ourselves to heal it. Though specifically the knees, this is an area that most people are being reminded of something. For me, it means something that it might not mean to you, culturally speaking. For me, when I have this knee stuff happening, it's reminding me that I'm bending and giving away my power. I'm bending at the knee and giving away my power and not speaking my truth and not allowing myself to stand in my truth. It could mean something different for you depending on where you are on this planet. And so that's something to consider. What does it mean to you to bend at the knee? Um, Mia says, so sorry, I can't join the Zoom meeting anymore. They start at 1 a.m. in Germany. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Mia. It's been really difficult to try to shift it to where it fits everyone's time zones. Um, we'll find a solution to that at some point. Though in the meantime, we're just kind of shift for a little bit over here, shift for a little bit over there to try to let everyone have an opportunity. Um, well, I'm sorry to hear that. Sassy says, my jaw gets sore when the sun goes down. Interesting. Ringing in my right ear was the first huge symptom. Why do I have pain behind my heart? All right. So that's all from Sassy. So the jaw gets sore when the sun goes down. That's very fascinating. Um, I had something similar to that. It was actually not quite my jaw. It was right behind my ear, sort of by my neck, right there. Um, and then I started to hear, this is going to sound silly perhaps, I can hear now the rays of the setting sun. It sounds melodic. It sounds angelic. It's beautiful. And that started to happen before I started to hear it. So perhaps that's what's happening to you. I'm not sure. Um, Ringing in the right ear was a huge first symptom. I would say that was really the first time that I discovered what the word or the term ascension symptom was the ear ringing was where I discovered that. I was like, oh, of course. And why do I have pain behind my heart? So there's a variety of different reasons. If you feel for any reason that you need to see a physician, please do. I am not a doctor. I'm not trying to be that person. I'm giving you my experience. Having given that disclaimer, I can now say that a lot of the heart stuff is an activation of the heart. And not just that, not only an activation of the heart, but it's a healing. This is the area where healing comes from. We can move our heart chakra. We can move all of our chakras around our body. It's kind of funny. I never thought of it before. Um, anyway, we can move our heart chakra down to a place that needs to be healed. And so it can rotate and move around. And sometimes we have a sensation as a result of that. As well as when we're healing, most of the time I find I'll have heart related sensation. I'll have like heart palpitations. Not only the heart palpitations that come when the solar flares are coming and things like that, but when we're in a healing, heart palpitations are huge. And so they come in and they really kind of become very loud. And so that kind of a thing occurs a lot. If you could speak more on what kind of pain you're discussing, maybe I can answer you a little bit more completely, but I can let you know that there's definitely some activations in the 3 heart region. So we have the 3 hearts. There's this heart here, as well as, this area of the heart that people have already kind of known about. And for sure, everyone knows about this heart. And so we're having this triad, this triangle of heart here that's coming online. And so a lot of people are feeling physical symptom as a result. Mother Nature says, thank you, Pamela, for your expertise. You are so loved. Oh, thank you, Mother Nature. I'm just speaking what comes through and what I've experienced, as well as having so many of you telling me what's going on. I can then, relay that back. It's kind of cool how this has just worked out. The reason that I'm doing a YouTube channel to begin with was I was being pestered by Archangel Michael for a year. I didn't want to do it. I didn't think that I would make any kind of a positive impact. So thank you. Sarah Jane says, thank you for the tip regarding the root chakra and lengthening into the earth to undo the knot. You're welcome. And thank you. I hope that you try it and let me know how it goes. It's really cool. The farther that we reach, the more that we can extend. It seems counterintuitive. Well, a lot of us will say, oh, well, I want to go up. I want to experience the energies higher up, the higher realms. And of course we do. And so we'll reach and reach and reach, and we'll stay in the upper chakras and we'll go up. And it doesn't fully manifest until we are able to fully ground. It's still counterintuitive, honestly, as I speak it. It doesn't fully logic out, though it does make sense in a lot of ways. And the farther that you reach down through the soil, the closer you get to Gaia's heart. And her heart is this beautiful healing orb of light that channels through you, just as God's light channels down through you. So it's great all around. So I'm really excited to hear what it's like when people start to do that a little bit more. Vanya says, felt so much better just chilling out in nature these days, on a green meadow of trees, feel revived and fine. Awesome. The green of this time, when all of this green's being presented, is an example of this color therapy that we talk about. That's the heart chakra, the green. And so if you present the color that you're needing in your life to be around you more often, or in a higher number of interactions, you'll find that it'll help you. For instance, I was starting to have this sacral chakra stuff that people are talking about, and I started having daily orange juice again. And I started to have orange in my life, like orange colors around me. Then it's really helped. As soon as I started doing that, the symptoms went away. And you don't have to be drinking it or eating it. It can also be something that you're wearing, and like I said, a glass, you can be drinking from a cup that is of the color that you are struggling in chakra wise. It really helps. Let's see. Patriot Hero, is that why I've been feeling a huge increase in sexual desire? Okay, so the sexual desire, yes. Okay, this is something that most people aren't talking about, and I'm not whatever. This maybe not be for polite society. A lot of people are having this intensified sexual drive, and not in my personal experience, it has nothing to do with any other body, by the way. It's simply just the need to release, and not really wanting anyone else to be in the room for it. And, though the frequency has gone up as well, and a lot of people are reporting this. I've found the people that I am interacting with in these one-on-one healing sessions that I do, a lot of them tend to kind of try to hold in that energy and not let it release. And while they are doing that for a variety of different reasons, thinking about the Ankh and the Egyptian ways and holding in the energy and stuff like that, feeling like that was the correct way. Right now, where I'm being guided to say it's important to let that release, let it out, guide it out if you can. Some people don't have a sexual drive of any kind, and those who don't, that's exactly correct for where you're at. Though if you have one, and if you feel like it's happening in that way, let it release. And yes, it does have a lot to do with this chakral area we're talking about, Patriot Hero. And the more that we release it and extend it, the honestly, when I first started to dig the energy down into the soil in that way, the more sexual drive I seemed to have more and more and more. And then as I released it, I was able to dig that energy deeper and deeper into the soil. And then it's back and forth. So Eric says, OMG, this dropping things and things falling or me knocking things down is happening to me. Okay. Yeah. So this is really common. And also it's you're bumping into it with your energy. Like imagine you're in a bubble, which you are. And then as you strengthen, become more aware and be within that energetic bubble, the more that it does have the ability to affect things in a physical way around us. And now we're going from, the 50 feet in diameter. So again, we're in the middle and there's 50 feet around us. And then it's growing bigger and bigger and bigger around us. And so we're affecting more and more things around us and knocking things over. Um, affecting, I actually moved my computer monitor. I bumped it from over here. Like that was kind of funny. Though at the time I was intending to move the monitor, which is why I was moving toward it. So that was kind of an added bonus. It's kind of fun. Yeah. So um, there's a lot of that kind of stuff happening. And the inability to feel a thing energetically is a lot of why we're dropping things, I think. Like it's not resonating exactly at the same level that we resonate or something. All right. Okay, we have Edward says, craving chicken, marsala, and rice several times this week. Interesting. So those I don't know what your normal diet is, but I just wanted to, you reminded me something. And there's a lot of us that don't eat meat for one reason or another. I stopped eating meat not for ethical reasons, though I can look back and feel that I agree with some of those ethical reasons at this point. It was due to my body was not in harmony with it. Like at first it was red meat, and then it was, it moved through until at the very last I just stopped eating meat altogether. And then all of a sudden, my body started craving meat. And it was like the most confusing period, to be honest. Um, and a lot of other, like this one vegan I had talked to had been vegan for 40 years and went out and had a steak. And for me, when I ate the meat, it was like a detoxing food because it went straight through my body. My body's like, nope. And I think for me, that was the need to have something to accelerate that detoxing. Everyone's different for whatever reason that you're craving it. I've kind of got this little thing that I go along with. If my body craves it, I know that it won't cause me too much harm. I will go ahead and attempt to try it. So that's just something to consider. It's really interesting you brought that up. One thing that we can do before we ingest any kind of meat is to remember to release the fear. A lot of these animals do have a lot of fear contained in their bodies, the point of their demise. And so we release it by sending them love by praying over your food. You can do this with all things, not only meat. And this will allow the fear to be released. And that's what a lot of people are finding when they're eating meat and finding they don't want to, is that they're ingesting this fear and it's causing them some kind of disharmony. And so, yeah, to, let the light in through to your hands and bring it down and then send that light into the food. This love is this light. And as it goes into the food, you're pushing it down into the food, noticing your hands collecting the fear that's coming up from the food as you're pushing down the light into it, and then to release that up into the air, release it in thanks. And that really does help. Oh, thank you, Metaphysical Mike. Mike says, hi, I've been dealing with deep-rooted control issues from other timelines. What about you? It has randomly surfaced in my subconscious part of me. So this has been coming up a lot for a lot of people. So I'm really happy that you brought this up. And thank you so much it's 555 too. I love the fives. So the desire and the need to be the orchestrator of all things has usually one of those things that many of us come in here with. We have been selected among a vast group of energies for volunteer to come down and do this work. Like I remember it happening. There were so many of us that were like, me, pick me. And of the most educated and able and experienced, that's the word I was looking for, experienced, were picked to come into here and to do this. And so a lot of us are in energies and individuals who had historically, for a variety of lifetimes, been individuals who have been in a place of control, of leadership, of assisting, like giving everyone else guidelines and things to do. And so we're kind of going back into that energy and releasing that, because realizing that we are one among many here. Though you are definitely Neo, we are all Neo, right? We are all the chosen one kind of idea. And so this is kind of an energy that a lot of people are healing through right now. And this timeline that we're pulling we're breaking, we're closing a lot of these timelines. And as we do, then there's this more stability, more stable home. Everyone's on the same place, and there's no longer a hierarchy. This hierarchy concept is never was true. It never was something that we're really in. It was a falsehood to believe in something so we can be um, we can exist in the density that we did at that time, is what that a lot of that is for. So thank you for bringing it up. It has randomly surfaced in the subconscious part of you. So as you can allow yourself to kind of resonate into it, look into, feel into it a little bit more, it will help a lot more. So thank you for bringing that up, and thank you for your donation. That was awesome. Um, okay, let's see. Thinning hair. So Trina says thinning hair and hair standing up won't stay down. So the standing up hair is the thing that I'm noticing. I actually had a couple of places I took off of that video I just recorded because of these hairs. Like I'll be in recording, all of a sudden one hair, 20 hairs, and it's a thing. The static electricity stuff. My kiddo and I are constantly shocking each other. It's really strange to shock on a kiss. We're always kissing each other. So there's a lot of static electricity, and not just touching metallic or other people things, but also like I'm noticing that there's a static response when electric response when my body doesn't want me to eat something that I'm reaching for. When it started to happen with produce was when I really started to pay attention. It's like, okay, this is really something else. Very crazy. Cool though. Brandy says the acne has been more around my third eye. Yeah, that's interesting. I did have something like that. It was like right around here, this area, for a long time. It was just weird, and it's gone now. That's interesting. There's something else about what Trina said. There's a lot of people having hair stuff. Um, and so let's talk about that just for a moment. Thinning hair or your hair color changing. Like my hair just got lighter all of a sudden. I don't dye my hair. I haven't. Well, I dyed it black one time in my teenage years. I don't dye my hair though, and that was a long, unfortunate thing. It wasn't supposed to stay in. It was supposed to wash out, but I didn't read the blonde warning. Of course, blondes are never going to read the blonde warning, right? Anyway, um, and a lot of people are reporting the thinning of their hair, or they're losing the hair experience. This is really common. What I've understood though is that this energy moves up. It's moving from this space. The space is like a triangle. I'm not sure if you guys can hear me with covering my face, but it's a triangle like energy, and then it just kind of moves up and through, out, and then it goes around. And as it's moving through your hair, um, a lot of people are noticing either a rash that follows that line, um, like bumps or something like that, and or also their hair is thinning at that time. Most people have reported their hair returning after the energy has moved past and then had a chance to heal. It's almost like a rejuvenation of skin in some way, the hair follicle space. So something to consider is again to just remember to connect this energy. I feel like the more that we root, the more that all this other stuff's going to come back into alignment. Leona says, love and blessings to you, Pamela, as talking about this helps so much. Thank you for all you do. Thank you, Leona. I'm so happy that you said that you're here. Thank you for sharing that with me. I'm going to try to read this name. I'm sorry if I'm slaughtering it. Young Neff 48. Anybody been having light muscle twitches every now and then? Yeah. So we actually just discussed this earlier in this call, is that we're having there's twitching, muscle spasms, and full on Charlie horses. Like some of these Charlie horses are like really uncomfortable. And this twitching and this movement away from this energy has to do with us being able to pull away from this density. And so it's the shaking out that Archangel Michael talks about. I think I'm going to repost or reshare this channeling that I had done. It was like a year ago, and it was letting us know what's about to happen as well as what was starting to happen. And that is the shaking out. So the shaking out makes it so it's possible for the density to come out. So we're talking about like a screen or something. And as we shake it, then we're able to kind of like, okay, now we're releasing it. Another way to say it is you have a plant that's got a bunch of roots around a dirt clot, and you kind of shake it to release all the dirt. It's kind of what we're doing with that. Um, and so it's a good thing. It's really helpful. Oh, thank you, Kelly. Thank you very much. That was very generous of you. You all are so sweet. Oh my goodness. I'm just gonna cry and cry tonight. I just feel so loved being here with all of you. Um, um, Kelly says, anything I should try regarding spasms during meditation? I actually love the spasms coming during meditation, particularly because usually that's when you're transmuting. It does sound counterintuitive. It does sound not correct. Though what's happening is when that shaking out's happening, it's removing stuff, it's pulling stuff out. And there's usually a specific area of your body that you'll notice, that I would notice this shaking out happening until I stop resisting it. Like that's just a natural thing, right? You want to reposition your body, you kind of want to stop the spasming. And so if it's very uncomfortable, like if it's really severe, I probably would definitely move just because I'm not somebody who's a glutton for punishment or glutton for punishment. However, if I can tolerate it, I'll stick through it for a time and focus the healing to the area where the spasming is coming from. So the area that's happening is the healing part, is what's being healed. And you'll notice it more. I'll notice that type of reaction more when I'm doing a transmutation healing. So if I'm using the violet flame, and bringing in that transmutation and that beautiful healing, a lot of times as the things that need to move out do, it causes this spasm and this shaking out. So my suggestion is to lean into it, to focus on it and send more healing to that specific spot. And I will post that um, Archangel Michael channeling again in a little bit too. Deb says, fatigue. I know the fatigue, the extreme exhaustion, on top of this incredible desire to get a whole bunch of things done and also having zero motivation. And so get to sit around feeling listless. Listlessness is like, I got to do this. No, I'll do this. No. And then I end up not doing anything. It's really annoying. This is something that is like a phasal. There's a phase that happens. It happens in phases. And so we're here again. I'm noticing that when that occurs, that's like, and we're being called over and over again from both directions. So I have the way I hear things, it comes from a different direction based on what, and it, and both sides are saying, go in and go within. Spend more time at home or away from people. It doesn't have to be at home as possible in meditation. And you don't have to be deep in meditation, just in a meditative space, and while all this stuff, other stuff is happening. Because one of the becauses is there's a lot of energies that are waking up right now, and they don't want to. They really don't want to be awake. And they're resisting. And there's a lot of lashing out energy and just buzzy kind of energy. And it's and I found that when that's coming in, that it affects me in a way that I need to release. Like I will growl like a dog or something, kind of an animal. I will growl when I'm, not gonna freak anybody out, to let that out. It needs to be released if it affected me. And when I do that, all of a sudden, then I get to feel this tingly happy all over my body, and it's released. Um, Another solution, however, is to just don't hang out with a large group of people right now while they're in this lashing out energy. They don't know what's going on and they're freaking out, and a lot of them are starting to get an idea of what's happening, and it's like a bad dream. All of a sudden they're finding out that the people that they judged and, and struggled against for all these years actually were correct. There really are chemtrails. There really are angels. There really are ETs, all of this stuff. And these individuals were feeling them. So if you can, avoid large groups just for now. Um, and if not, then, there's a lot of healing that can be done there. So anybody been having light muscle twitch? Oh, I think I already read that. Didn't I? Yes. Okay. Sarah Jane says, yes, we'll try this tonight. Awesome. Stephanie, I've noticed that the heightened sexual energies increase excuse me, significantly when the solar waves are fierce. That's very fascinating, Stephanie. Thank you for sharing that. It didn't it also amped up during a lot of this electrical storm stuff that we had in this area. Stephanie and I are close enough to each other we shared a storm, and that electrical element, it's it feels like right now it's a, what's the right word? Not grounding. It's like a delivery service for the energy from a higher space down into this space. And so, yeah, it's like it ignites that desire and that need for release. It's very grounding to have that experience. I'm not sure what words I can say on YouTube. Excuse me. Let's see. Mick Olson says, my coordination is off the charts good. Awesome. Cat-like responses. A lot of people are going to notice an upgrade physically in the next couple of months, if not already being had. So that's really cool. You're already having that experience. Thank you for sharing that. Julie says, had issues with my eyes last couple of weeks. Um, I'm not sure how to pronounce that specialist. I think it's a eye doctor. Can't seem to get me the right drops to help. Well, I'm really sorry to hear that about your eyes. There's a lot of stuff happening with the eyes right now. There's this, and it's really fascinating. In my experience, I'll have had doctors that are just like, you're healthier than you ever were. Why are you here? What's wrong with you? Kind of stuff. And I don't use corrective lenses, glasses, or contacts or anything like that. And I started the focus. I felt like I was losing focus, and it was like I felt like I had to squint to see things and stuff like that. So I'm like, well, maybe this is just, my eyes need glasses now. And they're like, your eyes are great. Go home. Um, and then I started to realize that what was happening was, as we raise our frequency up to a higher vibration, then that whatever it's at that frequency, whatever's resonating at that vibrational space, we're then able to perceive. What's interesting is we a lot of times will assume that when we raise our frequency, it's like this, when it's actually like this. And I'm being very extreme so I can show the example, but it's a lot more like this, I would say. You are slowly and very much moving up. However, there's dips. And when we have those dips, that's the out of focus, in focus, out of focus. We're starting to see these things. And this is all over YouTube right now. If you go to the shorts section, you'll see, or at least I'm seeing everywhere, all of this stuff. It's like, they just discovered this great, amazing megalith. They just discovered this amazing thing. There's a 17-foot statue in this Peruvian backyard that no one noticed for 5 generations of living in this home. These types of discoveries are going to continue to occur. They're occurring because we're all collectively raising our frequency to meet the frequency of this other object. And so that's something else that's happening for that. Also, there's this filament, this goo that has left a lot of people's eyes, or is starting to come for individuals. And as that's happening, a lot of times there's going to be twitching on your eyes. And this is another level of upgrade for your eyeballs, and assist you. So I don't know if that's what you're talking about. But there's a lot of stuff about the eyes right now that's been happening on and off for a little while. What I found for the solution, when my eyes were struggling, I felt the need to close them, and so when you're closing your eyes and you're not sleeping, guess what? You're going to be meditating in some way. And so I got to do a lot more upgrades and meditation during that time. I think that had something to do with, like, it was prompting me to do that as well. So I don't know. Um, the problem has been resolved. Just to give you hope that it does go away. It's not an everlasting thing. None of these things are everlasting. The ear ringing, I very strongly believe that we are going to start to hear it differently as the message that it is that's coming in. We'll be able to decipher the ring, though. And so I think that will be a constant. It'll just be understood and more enjoyable in the future. Everything else will slowly fade away as we find a homeostasis, find a balance. So it'll be really cool. Vegan Vixen says, all I can, excuse me, this upper lung thing. All I can say is that having been vegan for over 40 years is that I'll never crave it. Is that I've never craved it. Thank goodness. Oh, that's awesome. I'm happy for you. There were some people who were quite distressed when they were having these cravings, and it's really great to be able to honor your body. It's also very difficult sometimes to follow what it's asking you to do. Um, I think I just lost my spot. Yeah, awesome. Blessing your meals. Blessing your meals really help. I'll bless it while I'm eating. I'm preparing it as well. The ingredients, you can give the love to it. Um, Blessing the water that you're bathing in, bless the water that you're washing your dishes in, all of this stuff. You're blessing it while you're saying kind things to it too. Like there's a whole nother video I could do about the water and how it's so awesome. Um, we do know that when we say kind, loving things to the water, it changes. That it looks completely different under a microscope versus saying unkind things or just not saying anything at all. And so we can really assist all of this stuff. I'll always be praying and saying I love you and thank you to all the things that I'm using to cook with. And also, I we have adopted a new way of not really using, unless we really feel like we have to, if something requires it, not really using utensils, not using forks and spoons as much as we can avoid. Finding that when we contact the food with our physical body before we put it in our mouth, we're not only are we blessing it another time, but then our body has a chance to decide if it wants it. And then it can tell you. Often we put it in our mouth, and as we're swallowing it, then our body's like, "Wait, no, it's too late." And so this connection, we'll feel like a quaking or a shivering or something going on when our body's like, "Please no, I would rather not have to transmute that." Also, on top of everything else, thank you very much, kind of a thing. And so that's something that really helps as well. Really great stuff, guys. 1111, so good to see you. Same here with the control issues. The circle within the circle is what I tell myself. Can only control what you can control. Exactly. And all of us are in control while at the same time, some type of autopilot mechanism being in place. So we're all in perfect unison. We're in this well choreographed dance, and it's just beautiful. Um, In the sky. Hi, it's good to see you. I struggle to know if we were truly selected from the higher realms for this cleanup, or if we were the ones who caused this mess in the beginning and now called to clear it up. That's an interesting point, and that's a valid consideration. Um, I in my own memory, in my own experience, everyone has their own place that they've come from, and what I remember seeing was the call to arms, the raising of the hands, and I don't remember feeling like responsible for it, though I did have a very heavy heart over having not made the window. During what people are referring to as the Atlantis period and the fall of the Atlantis period. Um, I remember that and I felt very disheartened. I was very, very sad about that. And I actually spent many lifetimes of man remotely experiencing the people here while I sulked and watched a nebula form, just kind of floating out in space for a very, very long time, not wanting to come back. What was interesting, though, is I knew that it was very unlikely that we would succeed. Like, the chances of catching that window at that time for that next step, that next awakening period, that next ascension step, it was very, very small, and the chances were very slim, though I put my all into it. A lot of us did, and so I took it pretty hard, and I remember that. Therefore, yes, I had for a while a lingering sense of responsibility. Perhaps you had something like that. Maybe you were part of the Lemurian group that I was. And so you're having a memory of that. Interesting question. Um, Having conversation between others. In the sky says, I struggle to know if I already read. Yes, oh yeah, let's just repeat. Okay. Um, all one. Yes, the fatigue and having to surrender, let go and be relaxed. Hardest thing for us humans to not judge ourself as the body and human is going through so much. Thank you, Pamela. Yes, going within. Thank you, all one. You're right, and allowing yourself to just be in the experience and to enjoy it. Like we are given the rare privilege of having this human experience, and the human condition is considered and seen as flawed and imperfect and quite the mess. However, this is a gift, like allowing yourselves to do the human thing. Another word for it is to do the 3D thing in some ways, participating in silly, cultural things that we do here and stuff. It's just part of the human condition. It's part of the gift. As long as we allow ourselves to continue to evolve, nothing can pull us back from that, and you are all on the ascension journey, period. There's no question, and we know that. There's no way of, at this point, you're locked in, and there's no way to falter. I'm not suggesting or guiding you to run off and live in a metropolitan city and be part of a high corporate. I don't know. I can't think of an example. Um, it's simply allowing yourself to do the things. Sometimes eating the foods that aren't the best for you because your body wants it, or that's what's happening, and that's the celebration in the moment. Remember to be in a place of celebration, play, and joy above all things. That's really the place that we are meant to be, is in this place of play. And in this place of play is our true mission. All of us have our own like subset or their main mission, that it all is based in this place of play. Finding that place of play so you can go to the place of joy in your heart. And then when you're in that higher joy, then you can send out the love without even really doing it on purpose. Exactly. Out and out and out. You can watch it move through the very air that you breathe, and to inspire the love, to find the harmony and the joy that is had in the larger vicinity of your area is seen. However, it goes even farther than that. And so to allow yourself to be in the place of play, whatever that means for you. For me, it's everything. Honestly, I'm very Peter Pan. Though, it could be digging in the sand, or it can be writing a piece of music. It could be doing whatever it is. There's some math. People love playing with math sometimes. These types of things, everyone has their own thing. And so just keeping that in mind. Julie says, thanks, Pamela. Good session today. Thank you, Julie. And thank you all. I'm sorry I didn't finish reading all of your comments. It was so good to have you all here. And thank you so much for the love. You've really filled me up again today. And it's been so fun to connect with you all. Please feel free to join us in our group. It's free. It won't be aired or recorded. It'll never be shared with anyone else in any way like that. You can come on with your camera off. You don't have to even speak if you don't want to. Often people will type like this in the chat of the Zoom, and I'll be your voice. And just be in a place where there's a whole bunch of us all together, reuniting again, and even though we haven't been separated, it's felt like it for this lifetime. And so allowing ourselves to reconnect. If you are interested, you can find the link. It's a new link every single week to renew the energy. The link can be found in the community section of my YouTube channel, as well as if you feel the desire to have a one-on-one session with me. I charge at this moment, I'm charging $22 an hour. Though you can, I know in the next little while, I've been encouraged for a long time to charge more, so I will increase it to 33 eventually. I want to do it for free. I would rather do it for free, though there is something that changes when when there's an exchange of energy, then the service is different. Then there's a balance that's had, and the person is more easily healed, which is why I started to charge. So if you are interested in that, there is a Calendly or a link to schedule and a one-on-one with me that's in the description of this video as well. Thank you all for coming, and thank you for the beautiful donations. I love you all so much. Have a lovely, lovely day, and I'll see you next week. Aho blessings.